everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Her Reigning Journey. Today's guest is Miss Ashma Berkel, Office Manager of the 4C Foundation and Empower Coordinator, who has dedicated over 20 years to empowering the communities across St.Maarten. With a strong background in disaster management, education, and social impact, she has served in key roles with the Red Cross St.Maarten and the Netherlands Red Cross. She's also contributed her expertise to organizations like WIFO and serving as board member and director of Leaders for Change Foundation. Guided by faith and compassion, she continues to be a driving force of empowerment and positive change in her community. Welcome, Ashma, to Her Reigning Journey.
Thank you so much, Kathy. It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
You know, when I first saw you, of course, we've known each other for a very long time.
Very long,
Very
indeed.
long time. But something that stood out to me when we met was your leadership. The way you displayed leadership, it was one that felt very human, not where it was like ranked or based on position. So I'm really happy that you're here today with us to share a little bit more on how you lead with a difference. You know, leading with that compassion, that conviction, that purpose, that courage. So thank you so much again for being here with us
It's a
today.
pleasure. It's truly a pleasure to serve. And I'm happy to be here this evening. Whatever information or feedback I could share to motivate another person or individual to continue helping community, that's what it's all about. So thank you, Kathy.
No, lovely, lovely, lovely. I love it. So we'll start first by asking you, what was your background, your experience, your upbringing that led you to leading with the leadership style that you currently have?
Oh, wow. All right. I think if I could only be honest and I have to look back, I would really say, looking at my grandmother growing up at a very young age and her compassion giving back to persons she didn't know, opening her doors and welcoming people. I learned from that. I didn't understand at the time. I would be like, why grandmother doing this to strangers? Like, but she did it with such passion and love, and she looked out for these individuals that I believe from just watching those small steps of actions,
Yes.
but later down embedded in the blood. Because as you know, you might only see me now, but there's many persons within my family that also serve within the community as well.
Yes, because I know your family too as well to an extent. So definitely what you're saying to us about your family and that being in your bloodline
Yeah.
is something that I can attest to in terms of how I see everyone, how you guys move. It is really, really heartfelt. It is
Yes.
heartfelt. It is
Yeah.
heartfelt. And was there ever a moment early in your career where you realized that you wanted to continue with being a leader?
At some point in my life, I said, you know what? Is this really what I want to do?
Okay.
Because what I truly believe is that many are called, but only few are chosen. And sometimes you could give your all and you could go above and beyond. That doesn't mean that the individual would appreciate you even though you're serving them.
Yes.
And then I quickly learned that you can't always impose your way on top of people. You have to meet them where they are. And only if someone is willing to take that journey of change, then you could continue working with them. So for me, I said, I truly believe it's something I was called to do.
Nice.
So I do it passionately. And if at any point in my life I feel that there's a doubt, I know who my creator is and I know where to go back to get a reconfirmation.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And
Yeah.
has there ever been a moment where sometimes you felt like, I don't want to do this anymore?
Oh, Kathy,
Like
I could only be
it's
honest.
too
Whew.
it's too burdensome. How has those moments been for you?
Wow. So I'm also a mother of three,
Oh,
three beautiful, amazing children.
nice.
And sometimes when I watch my children, and people always say, but you're sacrificing your children. Do you spend enough time with your children? You're always in the community, you're always here, you're always there. And then people ask me from time to time, how do you keep up? And I say, I don't feel it. For me, it's like a regular routine. It's just the same way if you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you prepare yourself, and you go out to work.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that stuck with me is that I remember a couple of years ago, I listened to a podcast.
Okay.
And in the podcast, the gentleman mentioned two things. What's the difference? I think it was Miles Monroe.
Okay.
What's the difference between your work and your job?
Mm.
And then, you know, if you have a job, then that requires payment.
Yeah.
And often people say, I go into work. But what we don't understand when we use the word work, work should be something that is a gift, something that you're passionate to give back and that you love doing on a daily basis, not that you're forced to do or you have to go out to do or you're looking for something in return. And I think because I'm not looking for a return on investment,
Yeah.
it becomes a regular chapter in my life. And I embed this in my kids because my first set of volunteers and motivators and team members was my children.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're actually keeping that in your bloodline, like you mentioned earlier. It is,
Yeah.
passing that down
Yes.
to your children. And I think that is so important because that is what community, that is what serving is all
Yeah.
about. And what you said, in terms of finding your work, like it is something that it's not burdensome. A
No.
job, there's a difference between a job and work.
Love what you do. In everything that you do, be passionate because if you're miserable, you're going to make everybody around you miserable. And that spoils the purpose.
Yes.
So my main aim, and as you read out most of my bio, every foundation or everywhere I ever worked before,
Yes.
it must be connected to community. It has to be that I'm giving back because then I'll be very miserable. Just being honest.
It wasn't ever a time where you felt like you wanted to switch, like you wondered, what if I was maybe, let's say, for example, an accountant? Or
Yeah.
what if maybe I was, let's say, someone that probably worked more in the hotel industry?
Mm. So I'm trying a little bit more to you, Kathy. So when I started off, right, so when I just left school, I think I work almost everywhere. Almost everywhere. Hospitality was my number one pillar. So many hotels on the island, I passed through them. I learned a lot. I went through restaurants, casinos, stores, and it was really about tapping in to all of these. At that time, I was young. I didn't know why you're only doing 6 months and you're constantly leaving and leaving. And I remember one day someone told me, Ashma, it will look very bad because you're not stable in a job. And I said, for you, it seems bad. But if I could only tell you the truth, I need to gain experience because I need to understand where my passion is.
Right.
But from dealing with people in the hospitality industry and just serving them, for me, it was all embedded in the process. It's how far you as an individual want to go and what do you want to accomplish in life.
Yes.
So for me, it was all about growth.
Wow. So so you
Yes.
tapped into all of those
You
different
name it.
areas
Yes.
to grow into it, to really and truly find what it is that you gravitate to most.
Correct. Correct. So I'll give you a quick example.
Sure.
I was hired as a front desk agent,
Okay.
but you hardly catch me at the front desk. If the housekeepers are busy, I will go and I will join them.
Wow.
If the gardener is outside, I will go in the garden and I want to see what he's doing. I want to see if I could help.
Yes.
Whatever it is outside of my scope that I could learn more from,
Mm-hmm.
I used to delve straight into it. And I remember a lot of my managers used to be like, we don't hire you for this. It's like, I understand, but I want to help.
Yeah.
But in the process of helping,
Yeah.
you gain knowledge.
Uh-huh.
Because if we go back to what the word says, so many people without knowledge will perish. So if we have to build our pillar on one foundation, you'll always be limited. So for me, it was always about flexibility and being able to be impactful in different people's life,
Right.
no
Right.
matter what industry you're serving in.
Wow. And your ability, that flexibility that you mentioned that you have going from here to there, it allows you to connect more with different people
Correct.
because
Correct.
you can better empathize with what they're going through because it's not just something that you think they may be going through, but because you've had the conversations, the experience with them, that connection, that relationship that is built.
Kathy, you hit the nail on the head. And today,
Uh-huh.
when I go into some of the meetings that I'm in, I smile a lot because many of the persons on the table is past managers and bosses I work with.
Wow.
And I see today that we could sit, we could negotiate, we could talk, we could have discussions, and there's no animosity.
Wow.
Because during my journey of learning and knowledge, I was always respectful.
Yes.
Um, and I was always humble, but I always listen and take note of what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So today I think it's an honor that the Most High allow a platform
Yes.
that I could still come back to persons that helped me grow and still sit with them to make a difference in someone else's life.
And I believe they are so proud of you to see where you are today, that you actually are able to sit at that table with them. I can only imagine it's a proud moment for them, and also for them being able to see your growth throughout
Yes,
those years, you know?
yes. I say, in growth,
Yes.
there's many things that comes with it.
Mm.
And there's a lot that we will lose. You lose friends, you lose family,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you lose loved ones.
Yeah.
And we have to work with the spirit of discernment.
Mm.
If it's for you, whether you're sure or unsure, trust and obey in the process. And if you're not sure, pray about it.
Mm.
Because for me, the good Lord said he will never leave us nor forsake us. And if you're passionate about whatever you do in life, you should always know where to go back to your source. And for
Wow.
me, I know where my source is.
Yes. Yes. So you're so confident, Ashma, in your purpose, and it exudes and it radiates, and it's something that comes so naturally from you.
And sometimes I don't see it. I
Wow.
I just feel like this needs to get done.
Right.
Let's get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't get it done, one thing I always tell my team members or my volunteers or colleagues, we don't believe in duplication. We truly believe in collaboration because you can't do everything yourself.
Right.
Don't
Right.
ever feel that you're the most important person in the room or in the world
Mm-hmm.
because it takes a collaborative effort in order for us to truly make a difference.
Yes, absolutely.
Because where I lack expertise or where I lack capacity,
Mm-hmm.
here's where you could come in and you could help build on top of that.
Yes.
Important is not about us because the Most High will take care of us. What's important for me is that the individual that we were assigned to serve, that we just don't serve you,
Yes.
but we have to remember key things. We must serve with dignity, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what we do. I often see that people first serve with exposure.
Wow.
So when you serve with exposure, you put yourself first at the forefront and forget the individual that you're actually serving.
Mm-hmm.
So again, yeah, it all depends on who you're serving and what your calling truly is.
Wow. And how did you figure out the audience that you were called to serve, that definitely this were the audience? Because knowing you, knowing the organizations you have been a part of, you are very much concerned about the homeless, the rough sleepers, and I see that passion, that drive that you
Yes.
have for them. How did you know and you were able to differentiate? Because serving can come in so many different ways to so many
Indeed.
different target audiences. How were you able to decipher that
Mm.
this was the target audience you felt led to serve?
Before I moved towards homeless and rough sleepers, although they were always part of the foundation,
Yes.
I started off a lot with seniors
Okay.
and children and vulnerable families.
Yeah.
And we did many events and we connected with these individuals and we did our best to help wherever we could. But I still wasn't feeling completed.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wasn't feeling I was doing enough. Um, and then when I sat down and I look back in my younger days, I had some really good friends that we grew up with,
Mm-hmm.
and quite a bit of them turned to drugs.
Yeah.
And when I drive on the friend side and I see these ladies
Mm-hmm.
and I know their journey, and I see them whether on crack, on drugs, using the needle, I always go and remind them
Yeah.
of who they were
Right.
and also remind them that there's still hope. And I remember having some of my own family members go down that path.
Yeah.
And I prayed about it. I remember I fasted about it. And I told people that I remember that God gave me two gauges. And he put me down for a while. He took away every single thing from me.
Wow.
And when I tell you everything, I was left with nothing.
Mm.
Left with nothing in the sense that you can't pay a bill.
Wow.
You can't manage your day to day.
Mm.
You don't even have food in your house.
Yeah.
And I remember asking God, why would you bring me through this process? After I'm serving your people for all of these years, after I'm doing all of this, it's not fair. But it took me a while to be humble again and show humility. And I understood why he took me through the process. Because often we do so well that we forget the person who the praise should go on to.
Yes.
And we accept the praise for ourselves. So when he pulled that mat from under my feet and he allowed me to fall, it allowed me to look up.
Mm.
In the process of looking up, it took me time to watch somebody from their feet to their head,
Yes.
no longer from the head to the foot. And I serve you from your foot first.
Yeah.
I don't serve you based on what you say, because sometimes some people might have anger. Some people might go through a journey that they just don't care. They don't believe in people anymore.
Yeah.
And it comes out of the head. So out of the mouth speaks the problems of the heart.
Correct.
But if we have to watch people from their feet first and work our way up, there should be no judgment.
Wow.
So that's how I choose to serve the rough sleepers and homeless persons.
Yes.
Because these individuals, we often serve them with full dignity. What you would
Yes.
want for yourself, you would do unto them.
Yes.
But to be honest, we serve by giving hot meals, clothing, packages. And if they eat already, or if they receive something for the day, they'll say, Ashma, it's okay.
Wow.
I don't want to give it to somebody else.
Yes.
And that I respect.
Yes.
Because generally, if we go into a community, everybody thinks that they're entitled because somebody's always going through something. So you need to respect that. But the individual that is really a rough sleeper, sleeping outdoors under rough conditions,
Yes.
to hear him say, it's okay,
Yes.
I eat already, give it to somebody else,
Yes.
it gives me more humility to continuously serve you. And that is why I focus my main pillars on those areas,
Wow.
on these individuals.
Ashma, that is so inspiring because as you mentioned that, Ashma, literally as you were speaking, I am picturing Jesus, like what the good book says, what the Bible says, who Christ was, what he represented when he came here on earth. And that is what we are called to be as believers, as people who believe in him. We are called to be representatives.
Correct.
We are
Truly
called to,
believe that.
we are made in his image and his likeness. So if we are made in his image and his likeness, then we should embody those things that he also exemplified in the earth, and even to a greater extent, because he did say when he leave, he's going to leave the Holy Spirit to us, and greater things shall we actually accomplish.
Yes.
So as you mentioned that, Ashmore, and that humility that you mentioned, and being able to serve from that place, not of that exposure first, if so many people were able to take hold of what you just mentioned, there would be, in my opinion, probably definitely less of the rough sleepers that we see out there, for sure, for sure. And that trust that would also be built in them too as
Oh, key
well.
word.
Yes.
Key word. I don't think I used that one for the night I said, but trust. Trust is key.
Yeah.
I think that's the number one pillar. And we didn't get that trust easy in our community. We had to do years of sensitization.
Right.
And you watch people, and one of our biggest problem, honestly, that we have on our island is that we tend to stereotype and judge too much. And we have a lot of pride.
Yes.
And because of pride, we have a lot of mental instability. And we are seeing a lot of mental illness happening on our island. People are afraid to come out.
Yes.
And people are also afraid to say, that's my family.
Yeah.
That's on drugs.
Yeah.
Or that's my child. And then they will join in with society and condemn this individual.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're seeing now is that people just don't know where to go.
Well, yes.
Whether it's a young person, a single mother, they just don't know who to turn to actually tell their story. Everybody has a story.
Everybody.
And we, just like me and you, we don't know where we end up in this life. But it's nice to just hear that there's still hope,
Yes.
that there's someone who still cares, and that there's still people who's willing to serve you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I met a mom a couple months ago
Yes.
in a very deplorable condition.
Okay.
And then she had an attitude, sis. And I was like, oh, no. She's like, no, you don't have to help me. We good. I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And then I remember I gave her a break a couple days after, and I went back to her and I said, I don't know why I'm coming back to you, but I believe you're just in my spirit and I
Yes.
need to sleep. And then I asked her to tell me your story. And by the time she was done, the tears that overflowed, not only from her, it came from me first.
Yeah.
Because when we listen to what people go through and what people have to experience in life, and then we judge that, hey, I'm going through this, or we complain so much. And we don't know that whether it's the neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
your cousin, the person downstairs is going through way worse and
Yeah.
taking on way more than you are. And sometimes we know,
Mm-hmm.
and then we play a blind eye.
Yeah.
And only when something happens, whether it leads to suicide or attempted suicide, or sometimes some people just burst out, so they don't know how to react, so they do things.
Yes.
Then we ask why people does those things or why their family don't look for them. But we don't understand too that we also contribute
Yeah.
towards this individual's behavior.
Wow. That's all. Ashma, when you write that book.
Oh, that's a lot of work. You know that what? Do that one.
Only if you're led. Only if you're led. Only if you're led. But
Only if I read, but the Holy Spirit had to send a typer with me. Like, I can't step and do it. I don't have time to sit.
wow. Wow.
I feel like I'm constantly going.
Yeah.
And it goes back to something you said earlier. If I ever think it's something I want to stop,
Yeah.
and it was just a couple weeks ago, I remember two very special people came to me
Yes.
individually on two different occasions. And it's like, Ashma, I think by the end of the year, you need to give up on what you're doing.
Mm.
Now you see how you do there. I was like, oh.
Really?
And it's like, yeah, you're doing too much. You need to now focus on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you could become a consultant or you could become, do something else in society.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I always tell them two things. Many are called, few are chosen.
Yes.
And if the Holy Spirit told you that, I'm still waiting for him to tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get that confirmation, then we'll have a conversation.
Perfect answer.
Until then, I don't do what I was called to do
Yes.
because I don't have a problem with it.
And you see, the thing is, sometimes, as you said, we look at individuals and we judge them from the outside without having a conversation to know why. The why really makes a difference. So,
Big
if
difference.
sometimes people have a conversation with you and they realize really and truly how you feel about this, it's not just where you're doing it for the optics or you're doing it because you have your free time, but
Or
you
the
are
money.
sacrificing.
We do our work all voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
There's no pay to serve our community.
Mm-hmm.
We do depend on our community to help us to help others.
Yes.
So any type of donation that we get, we make do with that,
Mm-hmm.
and then we create packages and then we give back, right? So I tell people, instead of stereotyping, judging,
Yeah.
volunteer with me just one day.
True.
I only need you for one day. Because when you're done volunteering, it's either you're going to go home crying when you see the reality
Mm-hmm.
of the dynamics of our communities, or you will be crying because you realize your years of judgment actually continue to keep these individuals in the positions that they are in right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love to invite people into the community and see things, including our government, is important because where we at now in our stage and our foundation when it comes to leaders for change,
Yes.
um, I often question, I see myself questioning lately, are we really making a difference? To be honest, I ask
Yeah.
people, I don't feel like I'm making a difference.
Wow.
Because if I give you a hot meal on a Sunday,
Yes.
you eat that within 15 minutes,
Yes.
you're still in the same position. I literally leave you in the same place.
Yeah.
I provide clothes, I provide food, whatever it may be. Are
Mhm.
we really making a difference? And I said, it's something I have to fast about. Because if it comes to me that we are not making a difference, then we need to reshuffle.
Yeah.
And I remember in fasting, the same thing come back, continue doing what you're doing.
Yes.
And we continue doing. The only thing now we escalate where we're moving more towards policy driven
Okay.
data.
Yes.
So collecting data from our community on why these homeless persons, and remember, homeless persons, we see them as persons that move from home to home.
Okay.
Because currently where we are right now, we're seeing that a lot of persons can't afford to pay their house rent,
Okay.
or they can't afford to pay their day-to-day. So these individuals are now forced to move in with family members, with friends, and it lasts for a short time,
Yes.
and they're constantly moving. We're also seeing that there's a lot of mothers with children sleeping in abandoned vehicles.
Wow.
So there's a lot of red flags
Yes.
that is up on our island. And I could only tell persons it's not getting better. It's really not getting better. So through more policy-driven data,
Yes.
our hope is that legislations could be pushed, policies could be put in place whereby we have long-term shelters, we have transitional shelters,
Yes.
we have shelters for women, shelters separately for men. But not only by putting people in a shelter, but create a livelihood skill
Yes.
whereby they could learn a trade or they could build on what they already know, get certified, and now integrate back into society.
Yes. Yes.
So we're pushing for that, and we're also ensuring that persons that we visit, that these individuals as well, we want to make sure now, do you have SFV? Are you insured? Do you collect understand if you're entitled to the understand? So we help and we take them through that process. And if they're entitled to it, then we work closely with other departments within government, and we help that individual.
Wow.
And that's that's the step that we're actually on.
Yes.
So when I question, are we impactful? And he said, continue doing what you're doing. The Holy Spirit connects to us. And then the Lord said he will communicate into his visions and dreams. And in the dream, he said, okay, I'll show you the next step. And first is the data policy.
Wow. Wow. Ashma,
Yes.
you guys are making a difference. You are making a difference. And my encouragement to you is keep doing what you're doing. And when I say keep doing what you're doing, I mean keep being surrendered to the obedience of God, because it's that obedience, it's what's going to continue taking you and the rest of the team further and higher and really targeting that difference that you're wondering if you're making, but really and truly making that difference. Like that obedience, you have that routine down pack in terms of going back to the source and hearing from him and being obedient with what he's telling you to do, even sometimes when it doesn't seem that way in your natural eyes.
Yes,
But
correct.
because he knows what he's up to and what he's gonna be setting you up, it is
He knows the
worthwhile for
plans.
you to remain submitted to him.
Totally agree.
Submitted to him with that.
Totally agree. He knows the plans he has for us, Kathy.
Yeah.
But I could only admit that we are human,
Yeah.
and sometimes we do go back to the flesh.
Yes.
But I love when you said that, knowing where your source is and going back there, it's important.
It is.
Because you will find people that will, deter the mind or deter the mission. And then it will also have people who started with you in the beginning.
They won't continue.
They motivated you. I mean, whether it's family or friend, they was there with you. And during the season of elevation, of evolvement,
Yeah.
you don't see these individuals. And then sometimes it put me in a space like, am I doing something wrong? Did I say something to turn somebody away from me?
Yeah.
And I just had to get reminded, that it's not everybody will be with you in your next season.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Not
That's
at
why I
all.
think letting go sometimes is hard
Yes.
because when you have people that started with you or served along with you, you tend to feel like I don't want to let you go because I feel ungrateful.
Mhm.
So what I started to do now, I just pray for you.
Yeah.
And I ask God to enlighten your steps and whatever your calling is, that you be happy doing it.
So true.
And then
So
I
true.
move on.
And as you rightfully said, Ashma, it can be hard
Oh
because
yes. Oh,
we, if not all of us, I know a good bit of us have gone through that season of shredding. And let me tell you, asking God, what did I
shredding.
do? Shredding.
I like that one. I like that one.
Because you actually try to see, okay, what did I do? That is one of the questions that we ask. What did I do to lead us to this point? But as you rightfully say, it's understanding after you have taken that self-examination and be comfortable with saying, hey, you know what, I try my best to do my part. And after you really realize that really and truly this next person may not enter that season with you, it's hard because you're gonna grieve that bond, you're gonna grieve
Yes, those
that relationships, those
moments.
moments. But God always is up to something. He's always up to something.
Always, always. And that's why I always tell my team, just trust and obey.
Yes.
Believe in the process. If you're not comfortable, step back.
Yeah.
Because one thing I see myself constantly saying in the last couple of months is that, and I keep reminding people, it's something I never used to say before.
Mhm.
Because I will always cover my team going out secretly.
Yes.
And I'm going to make sure cover you coming back in.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell people, when you serve a community, depending on your target group, you don't know what these individuals are involved in.
Mm-hmm.
The individual could be a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a rapist. You, we just don't know
Yeah.
people's background, right? We always see the facade, what's in front.
Yes.
But I say it's not our place to judge. And then people be like, but why you give him $1? You know he can buy drugs and you contributing to drugs. I said, no, what you don't understand is that all of us have a part to play.
Mm-hmm.
Do your part and move on. Because if you have to do your part and still talk about it for the whole day or for the whole week, then you have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not serving.
Mm. Wow.
You're not serving. So if the individual chooses to take that dollar and buy a drink or buy drugs, that is his decision. And therefore, he will then be dealt with that decision that he chose to make. But I did my part. So we all have parts to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest is up to the individual.
Wow. Wow. And that part, as you mentioned, something that came to my mind, that part would be what the Holy Spirit is leading you to do as
Correct.
well for that person.
Correct.
What is the Holy Spirit telling you to do within yourself? So what he may be dealing with me and telling me to do for that same individual might not be the same way that he's dealing with
Yeah.
you
Correct.
in that manner to deal with that individual.
Correct. Totally correct.
Hmm.
And one thing I always say, guys, we have to be careful
Mm-hmm.
because sowing your seed in stony grounds is a dangerous thing because you're still looking for something to grow from that stony ground.
Yes.
It might produce a tree, but will that tree produce fruit? It's the same as saying you could take a cow or horse and bring it to the water. It doesn't mean it will drink the water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do your part. Don't impose your help. Don't impose your belief. Never impose your religion or yourself on people.
Mm-hmm.
Every individual that we serve out in our community, I tell people, especially those that are vulnerable, we don't know if a spirit is attached to them. And I tell people we have to start watching things in the spiritual before the physical.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing happens in the physical unless agreed upon in the spiritual. And so when you serve an individual, I don't know if that individual was put in such a place to remain in that condition.
Yeah.
So by serving them, it could always cause an attack to reverse. If you understand the word, you have to be prepared before you jump into doing things. And often we see other people doing things and be like, oh, she doing it, I can do it. She do it better. Matter of fact, I have more connection, more hope.
Right.
To God be the glory. But are you ready to deal with the attack that will come after it or with it? And sometimes the attack will become so much that when the spirit attaches itself onto you, we don't know if it's legions or what type of spirit. So I often tell people, if you're going out to serve on your own, cover yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't go out happy Joe lucky.
Yeah.
Because I experience it. And when you get attacked, you get attacked. But when you know who your source is, even during the attack, the weapon will always form, but it will never prosper.
See?
And I continue with that. Yeah, I continue with that.
You're preaching, and you know the one thing, and I feel like if we dive deep in that, it's gonna take us somewhere else.
Mhm.
The one thing that came to mind when you mentioned about not imposing on
Oh, yeah.
people was the difference between people who are religious minded versus kingdom minded. That's a whole different
I think we're gonna be here till 4 in the morning and I'm gonna get more excited on the topic. But
patient to be that's a whole nother like segment, but that's the first thing that
Yeah.
came to my mind when I heard you said that is understanding that difference between being religious versus being kingdom.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yes.
I know you mentioned a few moments back the term evolving over time. So I'll ask you, in terms of your leadership style, how has that evolved over the years? How have you seen that evolve over the years?
I think with experience, exposure, but most of all with age,
Mm-hmm.
you see so much, you hear so much that it humbles you more. And during the process of growth and evolving,
Mm-hmm.
I learned to be still. Being on the board of WIFO for many years, representing workers' rights and championing workers' and women's rights, I was loud. Because if you say nonsense
Mm,
and I don't agree with it, I'm gonna let you know what's in my mind.
yeah.
If I feel that you're trampling upon somebody's rights or the laws of the land, I have a problem with that. And I'll let you know I have a problem with that. Despite who you are,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let you know. But I was aggressive. And I thought that being aggressive was the way to go,
Right.
because sometimes you deal with some employers and you could clearly see they're taking advantage of employees.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't put you in your place. Who you think you be coming here and doing what you want? But that's why I say humility. And with age, you learn to be still.
Yeah.
Because during the time of being still is when God has revealed much more to you. And I learned that talking too much in the wrong season and at the wrong time will mess with the plans that God has for you. So sometimes we set up our own self for failure and we just don't know. So I think what I've learned throughout all the years is truly be still and know that He's God.
Right.
Yeah.
And that for me is like totally one extreme to the whole next extreme, of being so vocal and voicing your thoughts to just being still.
Yes. Remember when I told you that He gave me 2 gauges?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you know how gauge that is. We friends just say, what? Put it down on the ground. Yeah, He gave me 2 gauges and He pulled that mat from under my feet. Because being aggressive, being loud, walking into rooms, walking out of rooms, slamming doors, I used to get it done.
Yeah.
We get what we wanted most of the times. But I remember I always used to watch my president of wife, and I just be like, you too quiet. You say you don't speak enough. I don't say you're not representing the worker.
Yeah.
And he always say one thing my grandfather always taught me, be a very good listener. And after we speak back and forth for hours, I remember he would always come up
Yes.
and he would say his part. And I'll be like, negotiation over? We sign. I said, you just said a couple of words. He said, correct. Everything you said, the way that you express yourself, people is watching.
Mm.
When you think people is not listening or watching, somebody is always minding your business, which is truly for everyone else. And social media has it good and it has it bad. And it could be that somebody just catch you in the wrong moment at the wrong time.
Yes.
And I always say to people, your first impression is your last impression. What you give out is exactly what people take in.
Yes.
So I don't think it's my place to judge you if I see you out of proportion.
Mhm.
Because the first thing I say, what's somebody do, Kathy?
Mhm.
Not that look at Kathy behavior,
Mhm.
you know? And that's why I say throughout the process of life with age, exposure, knowledge gain, you learn to be humble, listen more,
Mhm.
and be still.
Wow, wow, wow. And that mentorship, I think of when you mentioned your leader for the Whitefield team,
Yeah, Mr. Thompson.
Samson. In my head, I'm like, oh, that's a good mentorship moment right there, where you're asking him why is he so quiet, and then he gave you that little nugget of that thing about listening.
Yeah, yes. And I think, but it took me years now.
Yeah.
It took me years because I wasn't understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. For me, you quiet, um, you're soft. People gonna walk on you, they take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up in, you know, how we grew up, like we Caribbean people,
Yeah.
and we was like, yeah, we gonna fight for what we want.
Even if
We
you
know what's
say
going on.
the mentalities.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes I feel like, wow, look at all this. Oh God, I have to just change that, you know? And that's why I say thank God on the path that I took to where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Because had I remained the way I was, I don't know where I would be. I really don't
Sure,
know.
sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, wow. And along your leadership path, what is one thing that you had to unlearn? Whether it's something that you've always been taught about how leadership should look, what is one thing you had to unlearn during your journey of leadership?
One thing I had to unlearn,
Mm-hmm.
I would say speaking too fast. You're really speaking too fast. Sometimes by assuming that you know what the individual is about to say or what they want
Yeah.
is one of the most harmful and dangerous things.
Okay.
Because you could put yourself in such a position that it may be compromising to the foundation,
Mm-hmm.
or you make promises you cannot fulfill. And when you can't fulfill a promise and you tell somebody, I'm going to do this, for sure, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
You demotivate that individual, you lose trust with that individual,
Mm-hmm.
and then you create a negative word of mouth for yourself.
Yes.
And that's something I learned to Ashma. If you can't do it, let the person know I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And there's where my experience in the hotel industry had to go back because this is something we learn never make promises.
Okay.
And that's where I link everything to where I am today.
Yeah.
So my experience working in hotels and in casinos and stores and everywhere, it allowed me to tap into different traits and
Yeah.
different experiences that today could all come together
Mm-hmm.
under this foundation.
Wow. 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 Yes. And so many times out of the goodness or the intention, put it
Mhm.
that way, of people's heart, they're like, yeah, I want to help this person. So they quickly go ahead and they commit
Yes.
without verifying. And then
Without getting
sometimes,
confirmation,
yes, yes,
because we feel we could help everybody plus one,
yeah, yeah,
but it's not everybody,
no,
and it's not everybody you're called to help,
right,
even though they might be in a vulnerable situation. That's why every individual we approach, I pray first.
yeah,
I say, Lord, if that's not a person, please redirect our path. Or
yeah,
wherever you need us to go for the day, direct the team.
yes.
And so far, I could tell you, I'll be honest, he has always been with us.
I love it.
In it and out of it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And since you have a team, I'm sure that there's other women that also serve with you on the team.
Yes.
So how have you also made space for them to also lead alongside you?
Ha, 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 ha. So within my foundation, I have about 22 volunteers.
Okay.
Not all fully active because everybody has their own life, so they come on certain projects.
Yes.
But one thing I always do is that I connect myself with so much organizations and foundations, and especially through SIFSAF and Power on the 4C Foundation, we have the opportunity to do different trainings,
Okay.
attend different workshops to build capacity within our foundation, but also to build capacity within the volunteers and our team members.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do, even though the invitation comes to me,
Yes.
I make sure that my team members, everybody is aware. If you want to tap into that, and
Yes.
you're welcome to do it. I don't have to go to the training. If whatever I'm also given in the community, any one of my team members or volunteers, listen, you're welcome to receive it as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes they too go through things.
Yeah.
Sometimes we all face challenges. So I always make time to listen to my team members.
Yeah.
And you could talk for hours. Sometimes they just need an outlet, and you need to be that outlet. Because I can make a phone call now and I say, yo, I need 10 of y'all. We're going to do this tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have 10 loyal volunteers with me out tonight. Even if it's a last minute call, it's a loyalty for me. And if you show loyalty, I will forever be loyal.
Wow, Ashma. Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. You got big shoes there, girl. You got big shoes.
My cut small now, it only grow a little bit, but it's really tiny. It's really tiny.
But no, Ashma, as we are winding down this segment, it has been such a great conversation. Such a great conversation. And I feel like we've just touched the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I know, I know.
I really don't speak much about the work that we do. I say it will speak for itself.
Yes.
And often people get their own translation of our serving, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But for me, as long as we follow the direction of the Most High, anything outside of that is noise.
Wow. 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 So I'll ask you this one question
Oh,
as we
okay.
wrap up. One more question. If you could, and this should be something to leave with our listeners and all watchers,
Okay.
if you can speak to the woman who's just stepping into her first leadership role, what would you tell her?
I would say to her, never believe that you can't do something. In life, you will always meet the good and you'll meet the bad. Know where your foundation starts.
Mm-hmm.
And at any time you feel uneasy, uncertain, you feel alone, go back to that foundation. But make sure the first pillar in that foundation is of the Most High.
Mm.
Because He be your comforter, He be that listening ear that you need. But whatever you're going through, sis, smile it off. Then go back home and cry it out. Then make use of your two knees and then pray it down. And everything gonna be okay.
Right.
Trust and obey.
Trust and
Trust and obey.
obey. For there's no other way.
That's right. Trust and obey.
Well, no, Ashma, thank you so much for opening your heart to us today. Thank you so much for letting us see what leading with compassion, empathy, that deep human feeling looks like. I truly appreciate your time being here with us.
It's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much. And to you, our listeners and our viewers, thank you so much for joining us today on the Hurricane Journey podcast. And we look forward to having you join us again for another conversation on our next episode. Have a good one. You've been listening to the Hurricane Journey podcast. If today's conversation encouraged or inspired you, share it with the woman you admire. And let's keep building spaces where real conversations unfold, stories are shared, and legacies are born. Until next time, I'm your host, Katharina.